Hey!
It's you and me.
In a new year.
In a new time.
In a new place.
In a new season.
In a new year.
We circled back around. Hey guys, welcome back to a new year with you and me. We just got together, so this is all fresh. So thanks for all your guys' advice on our videos and like pointing out things that we didn't notice. Yeah, it's getting wild, guys. I am very fearful of this next chapter. Very, very fearful. It's not gonna be easy, Jade.
No.
We've been warned by the subscribers, by the game itself like 5 times. So we've been warned. So if we cry, we can't even say no one told us.
That is true. I don't want to cry, but it makes me do it anyway.
We'll probably
what's
cry.
The point?
Well, the rivers are coming, guys. Don't you worry. We were into this. We are into this. We are in this together.
We are into this. That's why we're here.
I mean, yes, we are invested. Very invested. That's why we've done this over a year. We are making it through. Slowly.
We're gonna finish it eventually.
But we will get there. We will find that finish. Don't you worry. All right. Enjoy the video. Oh, did you want to say something else?
It's just, thanks for sticking around.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay. Is this me? I guess this is me. Wait.
If it's Giselle, then it might be me.
I think it's Giselle. Because that carriage reminds me of the painting.
Shall I speak as maid?
I'm gonna say Giselle, yeah.
Okay.
Or either the maid, but that was like a false kind of security thing, so you could speak as the girl in the bedroom, the master bedroom.
Oh, shucks. Well, I mean, if they're the same person anyway, I'm going back to the maid voice because...
Okay.
Because that's her. I'll just try to be a little more peppy.
It had been several days since I left the capital, and I could still see it when I closed my eyes. The people lined up on the Grand Pont, awaiting entry, eager to start a new life there, brimming with hope. It was a city people were willing to pay high taxes to live in. If you're a performer, you can get some of those costs shaved down a bit by putting those skills to use. The capital was harsh on those who wanted in, and apathetic about all who left. It was comprised of a powerful nobility and clergy, wealthy merchants and bankers, and a large population of poor. And it was the city I had called home for a long time. I didn't know much about where I was heading.
You're so right, like all the time.
Oh no, I just got lucky with that one.
It's getting foggy. Looks like it might rain. Maybe we should take a little break. You want to keep going? Oh, all right then. The coachman was frustratingly
Taciturn.
Taciturn. Okay, good thing we looked it up.
The coachman was frustratingly taciturn. He acted as though he had gotten stuck transporting a prisoner, though that was hardly a stretch. From his point of view, I was nothing more than a criminal. Even the times he would acknowledge I had said anything, he had no effort to hide the scorn in his eyes, to pretend he didn't regret ever taking this job, and I would just fall silent again. The road was gradually getting narrower. We had long since left the paved city roads behind, and were now traveling along a couple worn-down grooves in the forest. How did I end up here? Why was I being subjected to this? I was done thinking about it. The more I thought on it, the less fair it seemed. The more I remembered, the worse it hurt. All I could do anymore was close my eyes and weather the storm. Deep within the dense woods, a mansion appeared before us, like the world fading into view after a dream. It didn't seem to be an especially large house, but it had obviously been constructed with a great deal of care, and it was, thankfully, not standing in ruins. This deep in the forest? The carriage came to a stop, and the coachman climbed down, signaling with his chin for me to get out. Thank you, very much. You must be tired after such a long journey. This is the mansion I am looking for, yes? But the driver didn't even acknowledge me, getting back onto the carriage and setting off into the forest. He seemed to want to get as far away from here as quickly as possible. He could have said something. Oh well. That was about all I could say anyway. Oh well. I couldn't blame anyone for my being here, or for his wanting to get out. I should get going, I guess. Getting a better look at it, the house's windows were, strangely enough, all shuttered. It was probably dark as pitch inside. What?
Isn't pitch like, I don't know, charcoal in a way? Or something like that?
That would be a very smart guess. I don't know.
I think it's something like that. I don't know. I don't remember.
I only ever hear pitch black.
Yeah, no,
so
I think it's
probably.
something. I don't remember what it was.
Does no one live here? But if that's the case, then why was I placed my hand on the front door. Such a big door. What if I couldn't get in? I had no idea what else there was in the area. If the door didn't open, then I would die out here in the forest. I've come to accept much, but I was not ready to forfeit my life yet. Please open. It's not locked, I guess. The door was heavy, and though it seemed to protest my attempts to enter, it still opened much easier than I was expecting. I was worried over nothing. Looking in, I got the strangest impression that light was being swallowed up into the mansion's depths. Rather than going inside, I felt as though I was about to step outside the boundaries of this world. When I closed the door, it was so dark, I couldn't even tell where I was walking. I wonder if the window's open. Though I managed to fumble my way over to the window, it was tightly shuttered, and the shutters caked with rust. I was probably not getting it open without a fight. Darn, not a hint of light. I couldn't even see my hand waving in front of my face. It felt as though the floor would fall out from under me, and I would sink into eternal darkness if I didn't watch my step. Fighting back the fear, I slowly walked forward, tracing the wall with my hand. There was a door at the end of a long corridor. I pulled it open, and a wisp of bone-chilling air brushed past me. It was too dark to see anything, but I could feel something different present in this area than the rest of the house. Uneasiness gripped me. Hello? Is anyone there? Please don't tell me it's actually abandoned. I suppose I can't know without looking around a bit more. My voice simply disappeared into the void. No response. As I pushed forward through the freezing air, for a split second, I spotted a shimmer of light. Squinting my eyes, I was able to make out a large window. Unlike the others, it wasn't shuttered. What do we have here? Drapes? I see a little light beyond. My chances were slim, I imagined. But if there was even a slight possibility of getting some light in here, it was worth a shot. So I pulled open the drapes. The next moment, faint but colorful light shone down on me. It was a stained glass window. From beyond the glass, I could hear the subtle pitter-patter of rain. It had finally started, it seemed. The different colors of light blended into a milky white, dim but wondrous. It's so pretty. It looks like an angel. Why would someone cover this up? It's beautiful. With a little more light, it'd be.
It's funny because we totally switched parts at this point.
Oh, do you want to take Mikael?
I guess so. I mean, it wouldn't make sense for you having everything unless you want to give up Giselle after you've been the maid this long.
I'm always the men.
I know.
But Mikael is hot.
He is hot. He's really hot.
Nah, it's a fun crossover we just had.
Okay. It's like everything that happened, but now not with the silver-haired girl instead. Giselle. Please do not touch the drapes. or the windows.
Suddenly, I hear a voice. If I could sense someone else in the room. The man's voice was emotionless, neither deep nor high. Before long, he came into view, illuminated by dull orange candlelight.
Okay. There you are, Mikhail.
I'm sorry for coming in uninvited, but, I did announce myself. The man stood there, practically blending in with the darkness. Had he been there the whole time? He was staring straight at me. His gaze wavered slightly, but not enough for me to read anything into it. Then again, I could hardly make out any detail at all under the light of a single candle. Is this, your mansion?
It is.
Thank goodness. I was afraid it was deserted.
I suspect you would have preferred it if the house were abandoned.
Oh, not at all. I would be scared to death staying in this dark mansion all by myself. I'm sorry. No ill will intended. But I do think it could do with some light.
I'm not used to you being a timid girl. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, she has a little more pep in her step.
Yeah.
Somehow. I'm not used to it either, don't worry. That way, you could see where you were walking. And I'm sure this room would look splendid illuminated.
Not necessary. I make do perfectly well as things are.
How can you see when it's so dark?
I have an abundance of candles and oil for lamps. I am not in want of means of creating light. It is not your place to criticize my lifestyle.
Boy's got a point.
If you need light, you are free to leave. If you are in need of money, help yourself to some of the furniture. There's a village not far from here. Trade it for food, then make your way to a larger town.
I am no longer able to freely return to the city.
So this is more exactly like what happened in the painting.
I cannot go back there. Please, don't chase me out.
I see. And do you ask this of me, aware of how people refer to this mansion?
They say that a witch lives here.
Not merely a witch. A cursed witch.
A cursed witch. A cursed witch.
If you remain here, you too shall likely suffer your own destruction.
You're worried for my well-being? Witch or not, my mind is made up. I was sent to this cursed witch's mansion to atone for my transgressions back in the city. Girl, what'd you do? It didn't matter what lived here. I had no choice.
Which will strike you first, I wonder, regret or the curse?
You seem to be doing just fine. It's only a tale.
The witch is real, very much so. It is not a legend, nor a fairy tale. The witch.
The witch's name was Morgana.
Is me.
Mikhail, no. He's got to be.
Wait, why did it change to leaves?
Oh.
In the corner? What's happening?
Is this you?
I don't know.
You want to take it?
Yeah, I'll be Mikhail and hope that's right. It's all a guessing game.
I know.
Yes. That was our first encounter. It was nothing flowery or dramatic. It was, rather, laced with suspicion and wariness. We knew nothing about one another, and I had no interest in changing that. But nonetheless, that is where it all began. Where my history with her commenced. Oh, God. Got lucky. I had a feeling with the leaves.
Oh, you could look like Polly just a smidgen.
Oh, just a smidgen. The woman had jade eyes.
Jade on it.
Open wide, they glimmered like jewels in the light shining through the stained glass window. She seemed to be at a loss for words. I wasn't lying, per se. The rumors said a witch lived in this house. It just feels so weird saying her instead of Elle. We've been with Elle for so long.
You know.
Just doesn't feel right anymore.
That's why I'm greatly confused. Watch Elle actually be the witch, and she's just made herself forget, so she looks good.
It made her seem innocent, yeah, interested. Hello.
Then again, I'm still confused about the witch.
You know, that does make the most sense, though, if Elle is the witch in the end, after all. What a trick. All this time we were thinking, oh, the Elle's innocent. This witch, though, gosh. And I was the only one who filled that criteria. Thus said rumors could be interpreted to be talking about me. After staring at me dumbfounded for a few moments, the woman suddenly burst into laughter.
Oh, wow. Here I was, thinking you were kind of scary, and it turns out you're actually quite funny.
What?
I would never have guessed you were someone to tell such a ridiculous joke with a straight face.
I wasn't.
You don't look at all like a witch.
Oh, I love her face. I love her.
I mean, it's dark and I can't really see.
Oh, I can't believe we were tricked. We're always tricked.
We're always.
The story is so confusing with all the twists. It didn't show Elle's face for so long.
That made a lot of sense. I was thinking about that. I'm like thinking, oh, is it because it's a first-person view because we are them? But now it was just a lie.
Good job, writers. Got us again.
For like how many times? 1,200?
This story never ends.
But you seem to me like a rather handsome man. The word witch. Oh, that's Eve, I'm sorry.
The word witch. The word witch has a broader meaning than just a woman who practices magic. Any unholy person with cursed powers, man or woman, can be considered a witch.
I think I get what you're trying to say, but my mental image of a witch is definitely more a woman. So you're not a witch?
Ice cream truck now. Remember our old animation of the cute little SpongeBob popsicles?
Oh. Yeah, that was good. That was a good one.
Oh, that was a good one. You know, if you're gonna be this noisy and cause noise pollution, can you at least give me a free ice cream at this point?
Yeah, I want a chocolate chip ice cream cookie sandwich, please.
Yeah, I like those,
Fudgesicles are pretty good too.
no. I'm not a chocolate fan, Jade.
I know, I'm sorry.
Not for me. There was this ice cream a long time ago that only existed as a child, where I see it very, very rarely. But there's like a cream of white ice cream inside that's soft, but it's in a popsicle of an orange popsicle.
Oh, the orange casing.
casing.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Those are good.
Those were so freaking good, and like it's so hard to find them. I find them every once in a blue moon at a 7-Eleven or like some kind of gas station or something.
I don't know what they're called.
I don't know either. Those were so good though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go.
So you're not a witch? To tell you the truth, I didn't know who might be here, which had me rather scared. But I think I can make this work.
What do you...
It's a pleasure to meet you, Master.
Master?
I was sent here from your old home. I was an Abigail for your mother, but, well, I might have made a little goof.
What did you do, girl? Oh, I thought she had a cow print dress because of the text box, and I was kind of fine with that, but like I was okay.
I made a little goof.
Yeah. Sorry. What did she do? I froze the moment the word left her mouth. Home. It rattled around my skull, shaking up terrible memories that had almost brought me to my knees. Why, after all these years, were they reaching out to me now? And not even sending someone to bring me back, just sending someone. To what end? For what purpose had they shipped an Abigail out to this remote mansion? What was Mother thinking? Was this another one of her attempts to break my curse? What do you mean you made a little goof? My voice came out weak. I did my best not to let it show on my face.
It was a teeny tiny mistake. Nothing you need to concern yourself with.
What did Mother say about me?
Well, it was actually your father who told me to come here. I never really spoke to your mother much.
Father sent you? That made even less sense. Why would he have? Did Father even know I was here? No. If he had known, I would have been... Who was this woman? And what was her goal in asking to stay here?
Well, there you have it. I'll be here for a while. If you need me for anything, do not hesitate to ask. I'm confident I can handle most everyday tasks. Now, where should I begin? Oh, I know. Are you hungry, Master? Food? I can't imagine you eat much, being as skinny as you are.
I turned my back on her without responding. No matter what her goal was, she had been sent from that house. There was no way anything good could have come from that, and there was no way I could live with someone who... Ice cream truck, it's because he goes around like a few times.
Orange popsicle
I love how you're looking at us.
with white filling. What are they called? A dreamsicle.
A dreamsicle? That doesn't sound
And
remotely
creamsicle.
Oh, that's right. That's what it was called, a creamsicle. I've heard that one. Those are so
A creamsicle is made with ice cream, while a dreamsicle is made with ice milk.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Guess it's a creamsicle.
Interesting. Oh, okay. There was no way anything good could come of that. Oh, I'm a man now. I forgot.
Do you want to switch back?
No, I'm just used to being girls.
Yeah, I got you. It wasn't bad.
There was no way anything good could come of that. And there was no way I could live with someone who had ties to them. I prayed she would take the hint, give up, and leave.
Master?
And so I kept ignoring her.
Master! Master!
I ignored.
Master!
I ignored her.
Master! What would you like for supper?
Nothing! But failed, spinning back and shouting. Her eyes went wide, and she gave a sheepish giggle. I glared at her as she fidgeted uncomfortably.
Eating is one of the most basic human needs, so if you're hungry, you should really eat.
I said I didn't want. What was that sound?
Must you ask? That is not a very polite thing to ask a lady, you know.
Huh?
You know. It was a long trip, and all I had to eat on the road was dried fruit. I felt like I was some kind of animal. So, what I'm trying to say is that I'm hungry.
That wasn't the sound of her stomach growling, was it? I thought lightning had struck from a distance.
Would you like some supper?
The kitchen is at the far end of the hall of the first floor. There's food in the cellar. Help yourself to any of it.
Thank you so much. I honestly feel like I haven't eaten in days, and I'm about to die of starvation. Oh, and I shouldn't need any help finding it. I plan on exploring the house anyway. It's rather exciting, being in a new place.
Oh. Dang it. That did not go as planned. Oh well. She can do as she pleases. I'll have nothing to do with it.
Oh, Master. Are you sure you don't...
No.
Master. Master.
What is it now?
My name is Giselle. It's a pleasure to meet you. And your name, Oh, Master, you!
I actually left the room that time, making my way back to my chambers. At some point, I would seriously have to chase her out, especially considering that she came from that house. But regardless, I was not terribly fond of her. Oh, now we'll go back to her perspective.
I like that.
That is a
I
very
like that
good touch.
indicator. Finally something.
I know.
I didn't really understand Mikael.
Or Michelle.
I know, I love how we just went back to Mikael after we redid the
You
door.
know, the truth is Mikael. Even though it's probably Michael. Isn't that the name of the archangel?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, it's okay.
I like saying Mikael.
Yeah.
You want to keep it?
It gives a flair. Yeah, we'll do it.
But that was probably because we were still essentially strangers. Having been sent to the mansion as reparation for my mistakes, I wasn't sure who I might find there. But I was tentatively convinced he wasn't a terrible person. He didn't do anything to me, except stay away. Mikael spent most of his time in his chambers, which he had told me to never enter under any circumstances. So we rarely encountered one another in the halls. For that reason, I made an effort to be kind and cheerful on the sporadic occasions we did cross paths.
Oh, it's fake.
What?
Her attitude, I don't know, her attitude
Oh.
feels fake.
Or maybe it's not fake per se, but like just trying.
Trying harder.
That makes
Yeah.
sense, yeah.
I figured if I kept that up long enough, he would eventually warm up to me. And as new housemates, being able to enjoy our time together was obviously preferable to the alternative. If I did manage to break the ice, I hoped we would be able to do some talking about the mansion, about him, about me. I just had to keep working at it. Mikael didn't need me to take care of him. He handled his own day-to-day needs and activities by himself, and in fact, he didn't ask me for anything. An aristocrat who had no use for his servant. I hadn't met anyone like him before.
I mean, he was alone for who knows how long.
Alright then. That meant about all I could do was clean. I wasn't sure how his room looked, but the rest of the house was, quite frankly, an absolute disaster. The dust was so heavy, it was obvious it hadn't been touched in years. Let's get started. It couldn't be healthy to live in these conditions, so I set out to clean each room in the house one by one. That said, it wasn't going to be an easy task. Not because I was bad at cleaning, in fact, I considered myself quite good at it. Because it was near impossible to find all the dust and grime that needed cleaning under the flickering light of a candle. I can't understand how anyone sane could live in this dark. What's wrong with him? Maybe he's actually a vampire. Oh gosh. Wouldn't that be something? I can see it now. Him sneaking out every night to suck the blood of pretty girls. Priceless. Ugh. That means I'm in trouble. Look at me. Miss One-Woman Comedy Show here. Yep. If I am able to get him to warm up to me, though, maybe that'll give me a little more room to make more changes. Like opening some windows. No light and fresh air. No thank you. Anyway, I set the candlestick down, pulled over a chair to stand on, and started wiping down the shelf. The chair's legs seemed to be uneven as it wobbled slightly beneath me. So many books. I wonder, do they all belong to him? I knew parchment was expensive, so it was rather astonishing seeing this many stacks of it in one place.
I just had a memory of her teaching Pistia how to read and write and stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
the language, so I'm thinking, I don't know, it was just a little memory.
Maybe this is where she learned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the last lie was some partial truth,
Mm-hmm.
I feel.
Yeah, I was kind of confused, like, now that we know the truth, it's like, oh, so that's why Elle was randomly good at chores all of a sudden and stuff, because, like, she never really tried to clean things. Even in Mel's mansion, I felt like she more just got extra errand tasks and stuff, like, it wasn't really, like, getting things done.
There were even some books with bulky, extravagantly decorated covers. He does come from an esteemed family. I'd spent enough time at his family's home. It was a constant bustle of servants and guests. The exact opposite of what this mansion was like. Why had he left his home? What had he done to be sent all the way out here, to this remote mansion with a less than savory reputation? Need to be careful not to overstep my bounds. I am a servant now. A servant. But once the thought had crossed my mind, I couldn't get it out. I always had a bad tendency to chase my curiosities as soon as they struck, pushing to scratch the itch no matter how much my actions annoyed others. I couldn't do that here, though. I was simply a servant, and if I got on Mikhail's bad side, I risked getting thrown out. I wonder what kind of books he's got in here. So I attempted to distract myself. I grabbed one of the books and attempted to pull it out. What? But the strings binding the parchment must have gotten tangled at the back. Whoa! Because the books on either side tilted back with it. Ah! And then the entire row came crashing down on top of me. Ow! Oh, for cripe's sake! I had fallen off the chair, and a downpour of books was still coming down on me. A mountain of dust with it. Seriously?
What are you doing?
What? Suddenly, Mikhail was there, looking down on me from a little ways away. There was, as usual, not much I could read from his expression, but I could hear a vague trace of exasperation in his voice. I was doing some cleaning and...
Impressive work.
I'm usually better than this. It's just so dark, mistakes should be expected. I really think we should open some windows, Master. Get some lights, some air flowing through here.
I never asked you to clean anything. You did this entirely yourself.
But there's so much dust. It can't be good for you.
I'm perfectly healthy. I don't see the problem.
Had he even seen himself? No way someone that skinny was perfectly healthy.
You look like you have something to say.
You know, he is kind of skinny. I didn't realize how small his shoulder width was. It's the hair that gives him the bulk.
Oh yeah, and his hand.
Yeah.
He can make out my face in this darkness? Oh, you know. I want it to be useful, and cleaning this is about all I can do here, so, you know.
I was sensing something else, but all right.
He let out a sigh, stepped over toward the pile of books, and then reached his hand down for me. I suddenly felt a pang of embarrassment about the fact that I was still splayed that I was still splayed out on the floor. But I raised my hand up to take his.
I feel like he's gonna pick up a book.
Yeah. Only for him to pick up a book instead.
Dang.
It's funny.
You could at least help me up.
You have legs. Gosh dang, dude.
He said, casually returning the books to the top shelf. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe he was a terrible person.
Yay. Oh no, it's
Mikhail,
not over yet.
baby.
Mikhail. I kind of like how we get to see what both of them are thinking inside their heads, though. It's really cool. And I love this indicator.
So we have to be Mikhail.
I think so. Okay.
So, Master, are all these books yours?
Giselle asked, not a trace of remorse visible on her face despite having made a mess of the room she was supposedly trying to clean. I gave a curt nod.
Really? That's impressive. Must have been hard work getting them all in here, huh? There's got to be 100 books here. You could fill a whole carriage at least. It's like you've got your own personal library.
She had been pouting only a few moments earlier, but her smile was back in short order. Her jade eyes were like little balls of curiosity, glittering in the faint candlelight. I was not particularly fond of overexpressive, rather overly curious women. Did they not care that they trampled uninvited into other people's personal spaces? Or were they not even aware that their actions were invasive? I averted my gaze from her. I receive one roughly every month.
I see. Wait.
She turned back towards the shelves. I presumed she understood the implications of what I had just said. Of the fact that there were nearly 100 tomes here, and I received only one a month.
Huh.
Giselle fell silent. I couldn't blame her if she thought my circumstances, or my family, or my life bizarre. But I didn't care what she thought of me. In fact, it was to my advantage for her to be uncomfortable. I just needed her to stay quiet and keep her nose out of my business. There's more than I thought. I said, not to her, but to myself. I had no reason to count the passage of time anymore. Only the books served as a record of how long I have been there.
What? 121?
What?
There are 121 books! 10 years and 1 month.
You were counting? I thought she had just sheepishly gone quiet. What an inscrutable...
Inscrutable?
We sound like kindergartners or something. Inscrutable?
Oh, these words are hard.
Inscrutable.
Inscrutable. What an inscrutable woman.
You've been here in the mansion for that long? All by yourself?
The truth was, there had been times when I wasn't alone, but Giselle had no need to know that. You already know the answer. A look of pity formed on Giselle's eyes. Enough. I never asked for her sympathy. I am here by choice.
You mean you weren't banished here?
No restraint, this woman. No. I came here on my own violation.
Volition. Volition. Violation is not the word.
I came here of my own volition. Sorry, that's not a word I say. It's not a word in my vocabulary. I didn't care enough to elaborate, though. Picking another book up off the floor, I brushed the dust off its cover. It was a gaudily decorated tome.
That's a very fancy book, isn't it?
But apparently, Giselle was unable to take a hint.
What's it about?
I let out a sigh and opened to no page in particular, sticking the book out toward her. She was a servant, and a woman. There was no way she could read.
Let's see here. This land is hardly suitable for cultivation. It can only produce over-sour grapes. I would probably get more out of it if I tore down the fields and made it into a market. Sounds like a lord's diary.
You can read? I was caught slightly off guard. It was rare for a noblewoman to be able to read and write, let alone a servant. Was she truly what she claimed to be?
I had someone to teach me. So, is this book any interesting?
It's dull, worthless tripe. I can't imagine why anyone thought it was worth binding.
It's a tough crowd. But it's not very often you get to see a lord's diary. I'm rather curious what kinds of things he griped about.
Lord or king, what value was there in another's grumbling? There was no knowledge contained within that book, just emotions, unsightly scribbles. And there was nothing more exhausting in this world than being emotional.
If you want to read it. Oh, that's you. Oh my gosh, my bad.
I keep getting confused too because I'm so used to you reading him.
If you want to read it, be my guest.
Oh man, my voice is so tired reading him.
I feel you. Reverse.
If you want to read it, be my guest.
That wasn't my intention, but alright. Once I've got the whole mansion cleaned, I'll read it.
I told you, you don't have to clean.
Oh, I've got an idea, Master. If you're interested, maybe we could read together.
Did you hear a word I just said? It's dull, worthless tripe.
Still, you might see it differently if you read it with someone else. And I'm sure there are some books here you would enjoy, Master.
You're wasting your time. Is that it? No, not yet? Okay. Here's where the doors get longer, or the sections get longer.
An actual door.
I was wondering. The suspicion and restraint budding between us was trite and insignificant at that point. She was still smiling after all. If I had been able to maintain that distance, then perhaps I wouldn't have ended up hurting her.
You fell in love with her, didn't you?
Oh, it's still going.
It had been a little under 2 weeks since I had moved in with Mikael. Though we lived in the same house, we rarely saw each other. On unlucky days, I wouldn't see him at all. I wasn't sure if he ate in his room or our schedules were simply misaligned, but we never had any meals together. Perhaps he was deliberately avoiding me. That has to be it. I know servant and master don't usually eat at the same table, but even so, he could be a little less obvious about it. Am I really that much of a nuisance? I'm not doing anything inappropriate, am I? I'm being pleasant and sociable, aren't I? I haven't given him any reason to not like me, I think. I hope. He had never been very enthusiastic about my staying here, but I hadn't been given a choice. I had been sent here by his family. Besides... No, out with the negative thoughts. Gotta stay positive. Yeah, he hasn't tried to chase me out yet. I just haven't broken the ice. I had to stay positive, optimistic, happy thoughts, and be myself. As long as I kept working at it, with enough time, Mikael would surely come around and not be so distant. I've got a goal, so let's get to work. First, I make supper, then I ask him to have it with me. Gotta be proactive when it comes to the reclusive types. Alright, here goes. Or, here would go. But we're almost out of supplies. Well, so much for that. The cellar is where the non-perishable food was stored. Dried foods, smoked meats, cheeses, and a small scattering of root vegetables. Looking at this makes me feel like a soldier holding down a castle's fortifications. Had Mikael really gone 10 years on nothing but this? I would have raised the white flag long ago. He said he hadn't left the mansion at all in those 10 years. I assume he at least goes out to get supplies, right? Running out of food is kind of a life or death matter. I can't believe he hasn't set a foot outside even once in...
What are you babbling on about?
What? Oh, no, he overheard me.
I assumed you were talking to someone.
Huh? Does anyone else live here, Master? I haven't seen anyone.
It is just the two of us. Alive, anyway.
You mean there are ghosts?
Oh my gosh, I love her. Something of the sort.
Well, there you go again with the jokes. I'm not a child. You're not going to trick me like that.
There are adults who believe in such things.
I suppose. But I don't really believe in ghosts or demons or curses or any of that. The church just tries to convince people they're real so they can squeeze more money out of them.
Dang. Am I going to have to turn you over to the church, you blasphemer?
No. I pray every day, honest.
I don't particularly care either way. I'm returning to my chambers.
What, already? You didn't, come down for food?
I only came down because I heard voices.
A moment. Please, just wait a second.
What?
Our stores are almost empty. What do you normally do when you need more food? I'll happily accompany you on a trip to the market.
Already? That was fast.
There are two of us. I really don't eat that much, do I? In the dim light, it was difficult to make out Mikhail's expression, but I thought I could see a tinge of annoyance on his face. Hold your ground, Giselle. You said you wanted to get closer to him. Is that a parsnip? Mikhail was holding a tangled ball of roots. The reason I asked was because the parsnip looked like it was on the verge of total decomposition.
See, there's still food.
Then he handed it to me. Well, wait! You want to eat that? It's clearly seen better days. You're going to get sick. Or are you telling me you can survive on rotten vegetables?
Of course I won't eat it. I just figured you were hardy enough to survive.
What do you think I am? No, he is definitely a jerk.
Or that the resulting diarrhea might reduce your appetite.
You're kidding, right? You can't be serious. And anyway, you should bury that outside. Then we can go purchase fresh supplies.
I told you, I don't go outside.
Then how do you... Huh? A visitor? Who could it be?
Perfect timing. You're a servant. Make yourself useful and go retrieve the package. If it's not a delivery, but a wanderer, chase them off.
What? A package? Master? Hold on a second. What are you talking about? He's gone. What kind of delivery is he expecting? Mikhail stood there, unmoving, veiled in shadow. He glanced over at me, then threw his gaze to the front door. At his command, I raised the bar, pulling open the door.
Oh, the light.
After nearly 2 weeks inside, the light from the setting sun almost blinded me. The world went white, my head pounding. After a few moments of intense blinking, my eyes acclimated themselves to the evening sunlight. There was no one outside, only a crate easily large enough to fit a child. Is this the package, Master? I turned back to face Mikhail, but he wouldn't meet my eyes, though it seemed more like he was avoiding looking at the light than at me. He's starting to seem more and more like a vampire. Not that I believe in vampires, of course. Regardless, I pray there's nothing bad in here. That's heavy. Master, can I get some help? Gee, thanks. I am a servant, admittedly, but this is a lot to ask of just one girl. A little help would sure be nice.
Once it's inside, close and bar the door.
He said dispassionately, his head still turned toward the darkness. As you wish, master. Once the door was shut, I found myself sucked back into the world of darkness. It hadn't even been 2 weeks, but the lack of light was beginning to become my normal. The outside world growing farther and farther away. Being holed up in here is definitely not good for me. I should go for a walk sometime. Maybe plant some flowers or vegetables. Yeah, I like that idea. Maybe I can grow that old tangle of roots into some fresh parsnip. What else do we have to plant? It'd be great if there were some flower seeds.
What are you doing? Open the box, now.
As you wish, master. Oh, there's food inside? In the box was a burlap sack filled with berries, root vegetables, and smoked meats, as well as an assortment of bread, fruits, and wine. Aside from the fruit and bread, everything else was the same as what Mikhail kept in the cellar. Ah! And buried beneath the burlap sack was a single book. 1 book a month. He really hasn't gone outside in 10 years.
It appears you have begun to grasp the situation.
Yeah. But why? This was delivered by someone from your house, master, wasn't it?
A servant, I assume.
Why did they leave without saying anything?
No one wants to talk to a cursed man. In the past, they would occasionally check in on me, but that hasn't happened recently.
They think you're cursed?
All right. You don't believe in curses. Then come up with your own explanation.
Jeez.
An excuse for them to want to stay away from me. That, for example, I killed someone. Or maybe that I'm insane.
Oh, look at that smile.
It's kind of creepy.
I couldn't.
Regardless, I'm not normal. Bring the food down to the cellar. The book to the library. You are, of course, free to refuse and run off back into the woods.
I'll do it.
All right, then you take care of that.
Hey,
What is it?
I just noticed that there's something else in here. It's wrapped in cloth. What could it be? Oh, a painting. For you to hang up somewhere in the house, I presume? It's so dark I can't see it very well, but I'm sure it's...
Don't touch that!
Oh, what? Mikhail, who had kept his distance from me until that point, suddenly marched over and ripped the painting from my grasp. Master? His face was twisted into a look I had never seen him make before. Was it indignation? Disgust? Hatred? Panic? I couldn't tell, but there was more than enough negative pressure to cause me to flinch back. Is that painting perhaps, something important?
A landscape painting.
He muttered under his breath, the tension melting away from his face. I was left looking at his usual blank, impenetrable expression. But his eyes were still asphyxiated on the picture, staring at it unblinkingly.
Why a landscape painting? Some kind of passive-aggressive message? It's not of anywhere nearby. Did they travel somewhere? Well, it's not of that girl, so that's improvement.
So he's been getting paintings of a girl?
Oh, that's what Maria found, and that's why it was busted.
Whoa. But
Why?
Master?
Oh, you're still here?
Still here? Of course I'm still here. Who do you think you asked to take care of this package? What's with you? Just running over and snatching the painting from me? You scared me. Could you maybe explain yourself? What's so special about that painting?
I don't believe that's any of your business.
He does have a point.
None of my... Of course it is. You ripped it out of my hands like I was some kind of thief. I have a right to know what that was all about, and maybe an apology while you're at it. You told me to open the box, so I did. Then all of a sudden you're angry.
We are not equals. Do not mistake yourself for my friend. You have a right to know. You have no such thing.
You don't have to be rude.
I'll say it again. Leave if you don't like it here. I never asked for you to be here. That was your wish.
My wish? Are you out of your mind? I never asked for this. I never wished for this. Who in their right mind would want to be sent to a house in the middle of nowhere? Who would ever want to go through that? No. Calm down, Giselle. You can't be angry. You're right. That is what I wanted. But I never wanted to make you mad, or for us to argue like this. I just wanted to get to know you better, to get closer to you. I mean, it would make things smoother for the both of us. It would make living together more enjoyable for us.
Listen carefully. This is very important for you to understand. Do not try to involve yourself with me. Do not go probing around for information. And if you can't do that, leave.
I completely shut out. The glare he was giving me and the standoffish aura he was emanating were reflected in his tone of voice. Why? Why did he try to push me away like that?
It seemed Giselle really didn't know much about me. Despite being sent here from my house, she was unaware of the monthly deliveries, as well as the reason why I lived in the mansion all by myself. Why, though? Would they not have told her anything? Why had she been sent here, left completely in the dark? Giselle looked up at me, fear and bewilderment in her eyes, though I thought I could see a glint of suspicion beneath it all. Like her true feelings were bubbling to the surface. Everyone had darkness in them they kept hidden. No one was exactly who they appeared to be. She was undoubtedly thinking, I'm not here because I want to be. I knew from the moment I first saw her that her bubbly, sweet effect was all a facade. Had she thought I was dense enough to not realize? She was no different from anyone else. What I didn't understand, though, was why she refused to leave no matter how hard I pushed. What was she hiding beneath that innocent-looking face? What was she thinking? What did she carry on her shoulders? Everyone is hiding something, deceiving those around them. I had to figure out what she really was. May I ask you something?
Sorry, Master. Yes?
On the day you arrived, you said you made a teeny-weeny...
Teeny-weeny big bikini mistake. What was it?
You said you made a teeny-tiny mistake while working at my family's house. Tell me about it. What did you do at the Bollinger estate in that moment? Brief though it was, her disposition wavered. Fear? Terror? No, perhaps anger? I couldn't tell. Nevertheless, it was abundantly clear that there was a subject she had no interest in me breaching. And so, she had borne her fangs. The smile she donned now was visibly forced.
It's nothing you need concern yourself with, Master. I promise, it was an insignificant little thing.
Then tell him.
She couldn't say. Why couldn't she tell me? What had she done there? It's very interesting because Elle's reaction to a lot of things is very opposite from how Giselle is actually behaving. Like, Elle told him everything, and she was honest the whole time, and she was, like, really happy about being there from the beginning, whereas she's, like, kind of complaining here and there and stuff. What had she done there? What did this woman know about that house? What did she know about me? What was concealed beneath that smile of hers? I am the master of this house, and you are a servant. And you still refuse to tell me?
Like I said, it's nothing. There's no reason to bother you with a mere servant's personal blunders, Master.
What are you hiding?
I'm not hiding anything.
Then you should be able to tell me exactly what you did at the Bollinger estate.
Like I said.
Tell me. Tell me.
You won't tell me a thing about yourself, and yet you would demand others to tell you about themselves. Here you are, practically threatening me, demanding I tell you something I don't want to talk about. And yet you still haven't told me anything about the painting.
Oh, so I was right. You do have something to hide. How many times must I repeat myself? We are not equals. I don't care if it's insignificant, or something you don't want to talk about.
What?
I'm ordering you to tell me. A trifling blunder would not get someone sent to live with a cursed man in a house spoken so unfavorably. Whatever she had done at the Bollinger estate, that had something to do with why she was here. If she truly hadn't done anything, then she had something to gain from this place, or possibly from me. And if that was the case, I had to get her to talk.
Won't make me.
Giselle's eyes were open wide. I recognized the look she was giving me. I knew very well what that gaze meant.
You're an abomination.
It was the same as them. Fear, contempt, revulsion, repulsion. The way she acted, the way she spoke, it was exactly the same. You're no different. I made her uncomfortable. I made her afraid. She thought I was unpleasant. She thought I was despicable. She thought I was an abomination. In a frenzy, I grabbed her by the shoulders, clamping down far more powerfully than I had meant to.
Ow! Stop!
Her face, contorted in pain, morphed into someone else's. Who was I directing my anger at? Where was this rage being aimed? Who are you calling an abomination?
What?
Tell me, who? The black fear bubbling up within me knew no end. The girl, she ridiculed me. She denied my identity with her glare. She couldn't escape from that phantom, that reality.
What are you? I never called you a... No, get away from me. Get your hands off me!
Giselle's scream echoed in the entrance hall, rattling my eardrums. She frantically smacked my arms aside, and then I came back to my senses. She was standing a little ways away, breathing heavily, arms wrapped tight around her body, glowering at me, showing her opposition to my touching her. Enlightening.
No. You just... you startled me, that's all.
Some servant you are, telling your master not to touch you.
Okay, bud. Oh, right, I have a... I'm allergic to people. It's a very unique condition, I hear. I mean,
Can you believe that? See, you know how many people get all red and itchy when they touch a dog or cat? It's that, except for people, so...
So?
I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I beg your forgiveness.
Why don't you speak your mind?
What?
This is what's going through your head right now. I have nothing to apologize for.
No, that's not...
I can somewhat sympathize with your plight. Being made to apologize even though you're hurting. I raised my hand against you first, after all.
Then you forgive me?
Sympathy does not equate to forgiveness. Now you take care of the package. I'm heading back to my chambers. What is it?
You're not going to make me leave after what I just did?
No, I am not. For it would seem I can make you leave on your own whenever I so please. Besides, I had yet to learn what she had done. It would be exceedingly difficult to get her story from her own mouth, which left me with one option: to write a letter to my mother. As much as the very thought revolted me. Hey you! Yeah, you! Did you like the video?
Maybe consider subscribing. We like your company.
Okay!
See you next video.